So maybe a first question would be, give us a state of just your tribes. Madison has just been designated in December, Truax Field, as the home of F35A. Doctor, can you start? Give us an overview. WisconsinEye is at the Fiserv Forum, which opened in August, the home of the Milwaukee Bucks. We're fortunate enough to be interviewing Alex Lasry. He's Senior Vice President of the Bucks, and we got front row seats. Alex, thanks very much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Pretty amazing building. It opened in August. It'll seat how many?
It'll be about 17,500 for
17,500, and you're going to alternate. Obviously, the Bucks are the major tenant, and then major concerts. What else? You just had a bull.
We just had a professional bull riding that was here this past weekend. We'll be having major concerts. We've already had Justin Timberlake, Maroon 5, The Killers. I believe in the next week we've got Metallica, the Eagles, our home opener. And then this will also be a place for Marquette. They'll be doing their basketball games here. And then we're also excited because this will also be a place where we're hoping to do some NCAA tournament for men's professional basketball, maybe even women's professional college basketball, and then also looking at some Frozen Fours, maybe Big Ten championships. I mean, what's great about this arena is it's adaptable and it's flexible, and so we'll be able to do really, I think, any sort of event here that you can think of.
Now, it seats how many for the Bucks?
17,500.
17,500. How is it different in design from some other arenas around the NBA?
Well, I think one of the big things that we tried to do was make this as open a feeling as possible. So we want everyone to feel connected to the game and connected to the event that's going on. So when you look at on the main concourse level, we have an open marketplace where you're getting local Milwaukee food vendors, so Sobelman's, Gold Rush Chicken, and then a pizzeria created by Giacomo Faluca, Wisconsin's own Palermo's Pizza, created his own pizza concept in the arena. So you're getting Milwaukee local food vendors in this open concept where from where you're getting the food you can actually see the court and see the event going on. Not to mention we've got the Panorama Club, which is our real new innovation, this kind of sky suite with a terrace that overlooks downtown Milwaukee. And then, finally, I think what we've also done is we're the first arena to have gender-neutral bathrooms, which we're pretty excited about. Again, all of this to make this as welcoming an arena for everyone that wants to come here.
And there might be beer and cheese curds somewhere sold in the building?
I think if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find some beer and cheese curds. But we've got Miller here, who's our main beer sponsor. And then we've also made sure that we've also got local craft beer as well. So if you go to any of the Drink Wisconsinly drink stands, you can find beer from Spotted Cow, Good City Brewing, you name it, we've got it.
Talk about the economic importance of this arena to downtown Milwaukee, please.
So with the arena, I think what's most important is it's not just for Bucks basketball. The Bucks are going to be able to play. Now, what I think is great is this is a new recruiting tool for us to make sure that we're getting top-level free agents and to keep our own guys here to really show that we've got the best facilities for them. I think in terms of economically for Wisconsin, you're already seeing it, which is concerts that were previously skipping this city and this state are now coming here. Justin Timberlake, for example, hadn't been to Milwaukee in 15 years and is now here. Elton John is doing his farewell tour. He's coming here. Cher is coming here. You're getting a lot of new acts from Kevin Hart, who previously wasn't doing arenas in Milwaukee, now came and did his arena tour here. Jim Gaffigan, Maroon 5. So economically what it's doing is it's bringing people from all across the state who aren't just looking for basketball, but are looking for entertainment. And it's bringing them to Milwaukee, and it's also bringing people from around the Midwest who are looking for a place to come see a really great concert and having them come here and spending their tourism dollars here. So it's increasing the amount of entertainment, and I think it's what this is the next chapter in sports entertainment for Milwaukee, and it's going to turn us into a top-tier city because of it.
One of the elements of partnering with the community was the Bucks agreed to pay $12.50 to the workers here. Do I have that right?
To start.
Our
goal, as we worked with the Alliance for Good Jobs, is we want to reach that $15 an hour. And again, that's just for the beginning worker. If you have a certain level of experience, obviously that number goes up. But we're starting right now. I believe it's actually, I think it's $13, but it's around that $12.50 to $13 range. And then every year it goes up till we get to the $15.
Why was that important to the Bucks? Is that an economic justice issue?
For us, we think we want to make sure that we're doing our part in leading to show that it not only makes sense to pay people fairly and to pay people a living wage, but that's also economical and it's good for business. And we think that if we're able to show that, hopefully other companies around the state will follow. I mean, Amazon just came out and said that they're going to be paying all their employees a family supporting wage. And so we want to make sure that we're doing stuff like that as well. Secondly, we want to make sure that we're able to hire the best people here. I mean, we are in the service industry here. And so we want to make sure that the food is coming out properly, that everyone's got a smile on their face, and that when someone comes here for the first time, they want to make sure that they're coming back. And so paying people appropriately is not only, I think the right thing to do, but I think it also makes the most economic sense. And I think it's also by doing that you're creating, hopefully you're creating some more customers of people who want to come back here.
What's the estimated economic impact of this forum?
I think in terms of a hard dollar number, I think it's almost limitless. I mean, I think it's hard to put an exact dollar number because, just in taxes that the players are going to pay, but also in ticket taxes that are going to go to the state and the county, there's a hard dollar number there. But I think what you're really looking at is what it's going to do from a marketability of the city and the state. It is going to put Milwaukee on the map in a way that it just hasn't been before, because people from Chicago are now going to be looking at Milwaukee as a destination, and people from around the Midwest are going to be looking at Milwaukee as a destination because we're going to have the elite concerts, we're going to have the elite shows, and I think what that's also going to do is create a standard and quality of living that people who are looking to start their life here or start their careers here are going to really value. And I think it's going to decrease the brain drain that's been happening, and I think it's also going to encourage people who are graduating from any college or university around the country to really start looking at Milwaukee as a place that they want to start their life.
And I've seen press releases from the county exec talking about the economic development around the forum. So it's really building up all of downtown Milwaukee, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's when you're looking at the economic impact. You're not just looking at the arena itself, but you're looking at what is the ancillary benefits. And so what you're seeing right across the street from the arena is our entertainment block, which has Good City Brewing and Punch Bowl Social and the beer garden that we just opened up. So this is going to become the new living room for Milwaukee, where tourists and locals are going to be able to come here and enjoy some really fun entertainment and new diversity of entertainment. And then what I think it's doing is what I think most importantly that we were able to show is taking a risk on this city is worth it. And I think by us investing our money and our resources into downtown Milwaukee and saying, hey, this is a place that's worth investing in, this is a place that's worth taking a risk on, you're now starting to see a ton of other people looking at Milwaukee as a place that they want to start developing. And it's not just happening in downtown, it's starting to spread across the city. I mean, you just look at up MLK, what's happening up MLK Drive into Lindsay Heights and Bronzeville. You're seeing a lot of development happening there, and you're seeing development happening all around, and I think that's something that was spurred on by the risk that we took.
WisconsinEye covered the debate in the Capitol over the public support for this forum. So perhaps I should ask, did it come in under budget and on time? And is there any physical surprises out there for the taxpayers that are?
It came in on budget and on time. We wanted to say that, hey, we were going to be open for the 2018-19 season, and we're here. We're open for the 2018-19 season. We were on budget, which was something that we were really proud of and happy about. No dollar that we did, we wanted to make sure everything was spent appropriately. And that was also one of the reasons why 80% of the building materials for this arena was made in Wisconsin. We wanted to make sure that this building was going to be stamped as made in Milwaukee, made in Wisconsin. So 80% of building material was from this state. And then we also made sure that we were paying people living wages, and also making sure that we were hiring people from Milwaukee and Wisconsin. So, we had an RPP goal, a residential preference program goal, for people who are unemployed or underemployed for the last 5 years. Over 40% of the workforce on this arena were unemployed or underemployed the last 5 years. A majority, we had a high percentage of them minorities from the hardest hit zip codes in this city. And we wanted to make sure that we continue that as we're operating the arena. So we're looking to hire people from the hardest hit zip codes in this city, so that we can do our part in not only making sure that this is the best arena around the country, but that it's also providing a real benefit for the citizens of Milwaukee and Wisconsin.
Do you see that as closing the gap between the richest and the poorest in this city? One way to do that? Go back to the economic justice idea?
Look, we're not the silver bullet for everything. We're trying to do our part and trying to lead. We're not going to tell other companies how to run their business, but we want to do our part. And again, it's not just an economic justice thing. It's a real economic benefit to our company. We're going to make sure that the people working here are really happy and proud to be working here, and that type of energy is infectious to everyone that comes in. When you've got an employee that's happy to be here, they've always got a smile on their face, and that leads to a smile on the face of the customer, and it leads to an overall better customer experience. And so I think everything that we're trying to do is, look, it's got to be best economically for the organization, but I also think that what we have been seeing that's best economically for us is also in the right place for the people of Milwaukee and Wisconsin.
Talk about the genesis of the idea to bring the 2020 Democratic National Convention to this building. Was it your idea?
So this was something that we worked in conjunction with the mayor and Congresswoman Moore. And I think when they had first looked at this a couple years ago, they didn't have the hotel rooms or the arena. For me, I think what was most important about this was, it really centered around what was going on with HQ2. And you never saw Milwaukee on the map of a potential, as a city that could host the new headquarters. And this was regardless of whether you think we should have been putting money towards getting the headquarters or not. For me, it was more, why isn't Milwaukee even in the conversation? You see cities as, Charlotte, Raleigh, Virginia Beach, and you don't see Milwaukee. And Milwaukee is a top tier city, and it's the biggest city in Wisconsin, and it's close to Chicago, it's close to Minneapolis, it's close to every major city in the Midwest, and Milwaukee was getting no love. And I think a lot of it has to do with Milwaukee is just this kept secret. I think it was Vogue or Vanity Fair that wrote an article that was Milwaukee is the best kept secret in the Midwest. And I think this bid is really to out Milwaukee as not a secret anymore. This is a great city, and it's a city that everyone should want to come to. And this convention bid is, and when we win it, it's going to put Milwaukee on the map, I think, in a way that we never could have envisioned before.
Okay, but a lot of cities want to host that convention. So how did you clear the list to make I think there's 3 finalists, right? Milwaukee, Miami, Houston?
Yep.
So how did you get into the finalists?
Look, I think the story that Milwaukee is able to tell is one that represents, kind of America. I think it's a microcosm of what's going on. It's a city that, was this quote-unquote Rust Belt city that's trying to get through the Great Recession and figure out what's going to happen in a post-manufacturing era. And Milwaukee is starting to come through that on the other side, and I think you're starting to see a renaissance in this city. I think other parts of it is, the body of Milwaukee, the populace of Milwaukee looks like America and looks like the country. It's an extremely diverse city, I think majority minority. And there's also no better city in the summertime. We're the city of festivals in the summertime. Everyone wants to come here. Everyone wants to be outside. So we know how to throw a great party. And a convention is, at the end of the day, just a really big party for all the delegates. And I think mostly what we were then able to show is that the delegate experience here is going to be next to none. Obviously, we're a politically important state, and I think that means something. But I think overall, what we were trying to show is that the delegate experience here is going to be second to none. And when you look at the Fiserv Forum, kind of the crown jewel of that pitch, I think the committee looked at what we were putting forward, and looked at Milwaukee as a top city that could throw one of the best conventions that they've had.
But there are numbers involved. You have to have how many hotel rooms, how many potential visitors, and what's the estimated potential impact on the city of Milwaukee vis-a-vis the cost, and who pays the cost?
So there was a lot right there. So I'll try to untangle it as best I can. Thanks. So there are going to be, they need 15,000 hotel rooms within a 20-minute drive. So we got with Visit Milwaukee and the Marcus Group on trying to build out a model that showed, hey, these are all the hotel rooms within a 20-minute drive. And what's great about Wisconsin is when you say a 20-minute drive, it's a 20-minute drive. I've lived all over the East Coast, and when we say a 20-minute drive, it's really 35 to 40 minutes.
Do we have those 15K hotel rooms?
We have over
right
15,000. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay,
that was something that we wouldn't have made the bid if we didn't. We wanted to make sure that we were set on all of the fundamentals of the bid, because then you can't put Milwaukee aside as, oh, it's just a small city that can't handle it. No, what we were able to show is, look, we do Harley Fest, we do Summerfest, we do Northwestern Mutual. When you look at Madison, they've got the Tough Mudder Championships. They do the Epic conference every year. So Milwaukee and Wisconsin is used to hosting major events and big events where 50,000 plus people are coming into the state. Look, we got the U.S. Open and then the Ryder Cup's coming. So we're used to hosting these type of events.
So that's the number that could be attracted.
It'll be over 50,000 people coming in for the convention over those 4 days, and over 1,500 events going on in those 4 days. So it's not just happening in the city, which is what I think a lot of people need to realize. This is something that is going to take over the state, and it is going to be an economic benefit to the entire state. From Milwaukee will obviously be the center of it, but the entire state is really going to benefit because when I went to the convention in 2016, people were staying in Jersey, people were staying in other parts of Pennsylvania. They're not just staying in downtown Philly. And so the entire state, I think, is going to see a major benefit from this convention. And then when you look at the economic impact of this, for the state, it's going to be $200 to $300 million. $200
to $300 million.
Yeah.
What's the cost of the convention?
So the cost is about 50 to 60.
50 to 60.
And that's all raised by the host committee. So it's primarily private dollars that come in, fundraised from not only Wisconsin, but around. It's a national fundraising campaign that the host committee tries to put together. And then I believe there's also a security grant that is provided by the federal government to cover the increased security costs.
Would there be costs that you would expect to be borne by the city, county, and state governments?
It's not something I'm expecting. We believe that we'll be able to raise the money necessary for the host committee, and that's what we're focused on, is trying to show the DNC committee that there is a path for the host committee to raise $50 to $60 million, and I think the proposal that we've put together shows that we're going to be able to do that.
Okay, this is your opportunity to trash talk Miami and Houston. Well, go ahead. Why not Miami? Because it's sinking?
No, I think what's great about this entire convention, especially for the DNC process, is there are three great cities, and there really are. Miami and Houston are really fun cities.
No trash talk. Okay, I understand.
I'm not gonna denigrate those cities, but I do think, and I don't think we need to, because I honestly think the pro Milwaukee story. You only go negative when your story isn't good enough to tell. And I think for us, we've got a story that when we're able to get it out, and when people really listen to why Milwaukee and why Wisconsin, you don't even need to worry about what's going on in Houston and Miami, because you look at what's going on here and you say, okay, that's where I need to be. And it helps that I think our summer weather is a place that you want to be. Again, we're the city of festivals in the summertime. Everyone wants to be outside. I haven't been to a city in the summertime that is as much fun and as hospitable in the summer as Milwaukee is. And I think when you look at all the stuff that we're putting forth, from all across the state. I think all the benefits that you look at in Wisconsin, I think it just makes the most sense because the story of Wisconsin, I think, is the story that America is going through right now. And I think that's what we're trying to tell. And I think when conventions are about the future, which is what they are, they're about what the future of this country is going to be. I think Wisconsin is able to, really kind of tell that story of where we're going.
Have Democrats, has the DNC forgiven Wisconsin for voting for Trump in 2016 and Republicans in control in the Capitol for 8 years?
I think when they're looking at what's going on here, I think, what we're excited about is the fact that this bid is bipartisan. And when you actually talk to the selection committee and you talk to people in the DNC, the number one goal is, can you throw a great convention? It's not about, are you a purple state? Are you a red or blue? It's about, are you able to put on a show that the party and the country can be proud of? And I think that's what we're trying to show that we can do. And I think from a city and state perspective, the reason we've had such great bipartisan support, Governor Walker is on board. We've seen Republican business leaders who are on board and excited about this opportunity. And we've also got all the Democratic leaders on board. And I think, one of the reasons you're seeing one of the few bipartisan things happening in the state for this convention bid is because they know what this can do for the city and the state, not just economically, but also from a recruiting standpoint of trying to get young professionals and families here to show off the city and state. We're going to have 50,000 people here who otherwise weren't going to be here, who are all going to be here over the course of 4 days, and this is our chance to really show off the state and show why you want to be here.
Do the odds of getting the convention in 2020 go up if Senator Baldwin is reelected and a Democrat is elected governor?
In all honesty, I don't think that's what the committee is looking at. I really don't. Obviously, me personally, I have my own, my own political leanings, but I think from this effort, this is not about partisanship, and it's not about partisanship from our side. And I think, again, what the Democratic committee is looking at is, it's not about, are we going to a red or blue state? It's about what state and what city can throw the best convention. Texas is a notoriously red state, and that is not swaying the committee in any way, because they look at Houston as, hey, this is a viable city, that's a convention city that could, possibly throw a great convention. I think for us, what we're trying to show is not whether we're, blue or red, but I think that, we're a politically interesting state that you want to be a part of. And if you're looking for a state that's going to really throw one of the best conventions that you've had in the last, 20 years, you want to be here. And I think a lot of that is because we want it. When I've traveled, around the state and around the city, and I'm wearing my DNC pullover, people are saying like, oh man, I really hope I get this. And even people who have said, I didn't, I'm not a Democrat, but I really hope we get this because it's going to be great for for Wisconsin.
Talk about the process. What happens next in terms of a selection and when?
So right now, the committee is going to go visit Miami in the next couple weeks. That's the last city that they need to visit. And then we'll find out if we go to contract. And they'll generally bring 2 to 3 cities to contract. So, my guess is all 3 cities will be brought, but I'm not sure. They haven't told us. What we will do is we'll find out after the Miami visit, and then they'll start negotiating. And so we'll start negotiating the contract, and then we'll find out in December or January if we're awarded the convention. And it's my belief that after they came here, saw Milwaukee, and after them they've seen everywhere else, they're going to come to the conclusion that Wisconsin is the place they want to be.
Who presents the offer on behalf of Milwaukee? Is it the city? Is it the county? Is it the state? Is it a partnership along with the Bucks and the forum? So who actually presents? So
the presentation is done by the city and the host committee. So we've created a small host committee right now. With the mayor, me, Congresswoman Moore, kind of at the front of it and leading it. And so, that's going to be who's negotiating the contract and trying to make sure that, we're able to bring the convention here, and it is a a city and host committee effort, but it's also been when you look at the entire city, when they came here for the site visit, we had a reception with over 200 community and business leaders, just to show the support that this city and state has, and for this convention process. And it was people of all beliefs, independents, Republicans, Democrats, black, white, Latino, Asian, you name it, people were there. And it was because that they believe that bringing this convention here will do something for the state that nothing else that we have has been able to do. And that is why I've kind of been around the city and state just trying to hammer this home and talk about it, because it's important. And it's something that it's only, the Super Bowl is only bigger, and this will be our Super Bowl.
Your service in the Obama administration, that's going to help, isn't it? Right?
I think it helps in just being able to navigate some of the politics of the DNC. But again, I don't think the selection committee is really looking at this in a partisan lens for where they want to go. Obviously, the DNC is partisan, but the committee and the selection itself is not viewed at, Alex Lasry worked for President Obama, therefore, they've got the proper Democratic leaning. No, they're looking at this as, where do we want to go? Where are we going to have enthusiasm? Where is going to be a city that wants it, and that when we're putting on the convention, they're going to be doing everything in their power to make sure that that it's successful. And for us, this isn't just another convention. You look at Houston and Miami, massive convention cities. Mm-hmm. For them, this is just another convention. For us, this is the convention, and we are going to do everything in our power to make sure that that we fly the flag of the Midwest. The Democrats haven't come to the Midwest for a convention outside of Chicago since St. Louis, in I think 1917 or something like that.
And we all want to forget about the Chicago convention, don't
we? So we want to make sure that we're able to fly the flag of the Midwest and say, hey guys, it's time to come back. Let's come here. Let's show it off, and let's be proud of what we've built here. And I think we're starting to see a lot of regional support for our bid as well.
Remind us, what was your job with President Obama?
So I worked for Valerie Jarrett as her deputy chief of staff.
Okay. All right, let's turn the corner. The Buck season opens when?
The regular season opens next Wednesday, and we're on the road against Charlotte. And then 2 days later, we open our first game here at the Fiserv Forum against the Indiana Pacers.
Playoff time?
I think we should not only make the playoffs, but I think I said it on Twitter, some of my predictions. I think Giannis will be a top 3 MVP candidate. I think Chris will make an all-star team. And I think we'll be a top 4 seed in the East, and I think we'll win our division. When
do the Lakers and LeBron come here?
Oh man, I don't even know when the Lakers come here. I will say this: what's great about what Giannis has been able to accomplish is when we first took over the team, what we were seeing from ticket sales spiked when LeBron, Kobe, Wade, Steph Curry, when those guys were coming here, because people wanted to see those guys. What Giannis has done for us is now people aren't worried about when the visitors are coming. They want to come see Giannis. And we're now a top 5 team in the NBA that people want to come see. So when we go to other cities, ticket sales in those cities are spiking because they want to see Giannis and they want to see the Bucks play. And so I think, for us now, first couple years, I always knew when Kobe, when LeBron, and they were coming, and now it doesn't matter because I'm here to just see Giannis, dunk on everyone's head, and that's what's fun now about being part of the Bucks.
Jump over the opponent.
Yeah, not even dunking on their head, just literally jumping over them.
Amazing. The Brewers won their division yesterday, and they open play on Friday. Mm-hmm. Does the success of the Brewers raise the expectations of Bucks fans and you, and the excitement level?
I think it raises the excitement level. Does it raise the expectations? I think we already had, pretty high expectations coming in. I think what it does do is it sets the bar. And I think, from our competitive juices as just a Wisconsin sports team, we want to go above and beyond what the Brewers are doing. But I think it's also great what the Brewers are doing. They're putting some excitement, some non-Packer excitement into this state that I think everyone is really proud of. And I've said this before, there couldn't be a better time, I think, to be a Wisconsin sports fan than today. You get to watch Rogers, Yelich, Giannis, three of the best players in their respective sports. There's not a better time to be watching sports in Wisconsin.
Okay, prediction, 82 game season, 55-27.
I don't want to go that high. I definitely think we'll go over. I think we'll be 50 plus. Okay. We'll see how many game winners Giannis can hit to take us to 55. But I think we'll be 50 plus. I think we'll win our division, which will be the first time in over a decade. And I think some people forget we made the playoffs again this year. It'll be 4 times in 5 years that we've made the playoffs. That's great, and it's something to not to shake your shoulders at. But we also need to get past the first round. And so our hope is that we'll be able to get home court advantage, and there is nothing like home court advantage in Milwaukee. You've seen it for the Brewers, you see it for the Packers, and you've seen it in the Bucks. We beat the team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals all 3 times on this home floor. And I bet that if we had home court advantage against them, we would have gone to the second round. And that's why making sure that we get home court advantage this year is so important, because we have the best 6th man in all of basketball, and that's the 17,000 fans that we have coming here every game.
Fear the deer.
Fear the deer. It's happening.
Last question. You're a young man, active Democrat. When are you going to run for something? U.S. Senate 2012?
2012. Oh man, that would have been a
20.
little bit
I'm sorry,
ago.
2022.
Would have been really young for that.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm just looking at one. I want to make sure that what I've always been really excited about that being able to come here is that my platform with the Bucks allows me to not only get to work in sports, which is something that I have dreamed about since I was a young kid, but it also gives me a platform to do a lot of really great things. And until I, realize that I could do something else and have a similar impact, I'll look at that. But for me, this is a dream job. I love working it, and then hopefully we get the convention, and then I'll be focused on putting on the best convention that we've ever had.
Sounds like a never say never answer, though.
I mean, I'll never say never to anything. I've kind of lived my whole life where I never thought I'd be going into the White House. Got to go into the White House. Never thought I'd be, working for a sports team, and now I get to help run a sports team. So it's, I've been very blessed. And I think for my entire life, I, want to make sure that I'm able to give back and do public service, which is why I am so involved and why I worked in the White House. And so we'll see. Who knows? Maybe there's, there'll be a future Democratic administration that might come calling.
Alex Lasry, Senior Vice President of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Thanks
for
for
talking to WisconsinEye. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.